So 3.5 banner and just patch in general are here, and with it comes the release of Hysilens and Cerydra. So we're going to go over whether this patch is going to be worth using your Star World passes and Stellar Jades on for either of these characters and or the rerun banners. And then we're going to look at like team comps that both of these characters want and are both good in to really try to see if it's going to be 100% worth it. So the first character in phase 1 is going to be Hysilens. Obviously, she is going to be a Nihility character who is a physical unit. She's very, very strong, I do have to say. And then in the second part of phase 1, we are getting a rerun for our Lightning Queen Kafka. These two build up and are the primary core of a DOT, a dot team, damage over time. And the team seems like it's going to be really good, obviously, you know, with upon further testing and videos to really try to understand how the team is going to play, the, you know, the target stats, you know, caps that you want to be at is to be seen. So there is that team, and the ideal team that you want to be using is obviously with dot, because that's where Hysilens really excels, and quite frankly, like, that's the only place you should be playing Hysilens in. The first team right here, suggestion from Loot Bar, is a Hysilens, Black Swan, Kafka team with either Gallagher, Luocha, or Aventurine. I still understand why Huahua isn't here, because I do think, like, generally speaking, that's going to be the best sustained character because of the fact that you are going to be able to, you know, further recharge the teammates' ultimate gauge, as well as provide an attack bonus, which is something Hysilens wants because everything scales off of her own individual attack in regards to her as a character. The other team is a double dot team. You have your options here. They still have Black Swan here, but you can, for the double dot variant, it is going to be Hysilens and Kafka, because if you don't run Hysilens with Kafka, you are missing out significantly on a lot of damage. The supporters are either Robin, Asta, Ruame, Tingyun, or Tribi. The best option here, honestly, could be Asta, because of the fact that, you know, she has advanced action forward, which is very good. Robin, she does it as well in regards to her ultimate. She has advanced action forward, but she really provides crit damage, which none of these characters are going to really want. So that's very questionable, honestly. Ruame is good because of the break effect and, you know, being able to reduce more penetration, which is okay. Tingyun, honestly, is probably the better bet because of the advanced action forward, as well as recharging ultimate gauge. And then that's it for like team suggestions. But like I said, ideally you want to be running Hysilens at least with Kafka. If you have Black Swan, that is honestly a huge bonus, because those three in general is going to be like the core of the main dot team for foreseeable future, honestly. So it does suck the fact that Kafka is going to be on the same patch that Hysilens in. Not only that, but the same phase, because that can honestly be extremely expensive to get if you don't already have at least Kafka. So that's that. I'll have my opinions at the end. Next up in phase 2, we are going to be getting Cerydra, the pretty decent, honestly, harmony character. Follows the wind element, and then for phase 2 is Silver Wolf. Now I'll quickly talk about Silver Wolf just because it's a little easier to talk about her. Her buffs are okay. They have definitely made her a lot better. Not to the same point as when she was first released in the game, because at that point she was essentially like, you have to have her because of the fact that you can apply any kind of weakness on the enemy. But now they only made it to where, you know, the first character in your team, she applies that element weakness, unless obviously if they already have that weakness, then, you know, it's whatever is available essentially. She's good, but honestly you can skip her. We are at the point of the game where Silver Wolf can, I guess, have some viability, but for the most part you're better off just ignoring her. Cerydra though, it's a little bit more of a interesting topic. So jumping over here to the best team builds, essentially you have two main teams that you want to be running her with. The first being Finon, which is probably her best bet. You can have Finon with Cerydra, Sunday, and Bronya, and boom, this is the team you are going to get. You're going to have advanced action forward with Bronya for Finon, same thing with Sunday on Finon, and then Cerydra, you are going to be allowing Finon to use both hit a skill twice. So getting those core flames up to 12 as fast as possible is going to be good. And then once he is in the it's not the merit state, it's the other state, the permanent one. It might be the merit state, I don't know, correct me, whatever. Once he's in his Castellana form, whenever you use the meteor ability, you can just again use it straight away, and that's a stupid amount of damage, so it's very, very strong. Sustain is here, but again, for a Finon team, if you have this core right here, mainly these two, and then you do have Finon, obviously you are not going to be wanting to run a sustain character. That's just not what Finon wants. He wants all harmony characters. The other team that's going to be very popular with Cerydra is going to be Anaxa, because of the fact that Anaxa has that built-in capability to already use his skill for a second time, which is pretty damn good. And then with Cerydra, you can have him just boom, 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 boom 4 times right there. That's a ton of damage. Also, the fact that he's able to apply, you know, weakness element to every character or every enemy in the game with his ultimate, which makes him very good. There's some shenanigans you can do to actually really benefit him. The only downside though is right here, and I kind of agree with this is the best team for Anaxa. It's the same characters, unfortunately. You could have Huahua right there to again apply, you know, energy regeneration for Anaxa. And then actually I'd never really thought about this, the Archer team, obviously Sparkle being best in slot for Archer, and then Cerydra right here allowing for, yeah, actually, you know what, that does make sense, more skill damage capabilities. And then you have your sustain characters right here, probably Luocha being the best bet. Otherwise it probably is going to be Gallagher, probably not Aventurine. So Cerydra is also a very, very good character. Unfortunately, it's just very particular for 2 characters for the most part. Archer maybe, but in terms of raw damage capabilities, it's definitely in between either Finon or Anaxa. So this is a huge negative I have with this patch. Now, I'm saying that even as someone who has the complete dot team minus Hysilens, and then who also has the Finon team minus Cerydra. I'm debating between the two. Honestly, Dot sounds interesting to me, but Finon is my favorite character in the game, so I don't know. But for someone who doesn't have the capabilities to not only just build up the individual teams, or doesn't have the characters, this patch is an easy skip. I don't recommend people who don't have Dot, who now all of a sudden want to get into the Dot team, because A, Hysilens is here, but also because Kafka is going to be coming out. That's just stupidly expensive. And for Cerydra, you have to have Anaxa or Finon really to see the absolute maximum damage capabilities. Yeah, if Archer is here, and we all have Archer, but Cerydra works best with Anaxa or Finon for max damage capabilities. In terms of summoning, I don't think the average player should be summoning, just because there are going to be better characters coming out and more hyped characters, obviously, which Evernight and Cyrene coming out in the future. You should just wait for these characters to get a rerun on a patch that doesn't have any great characters, honestly.